I want to share this quick video with you. It's the devotion that I gave on the last day of VBS of June of 2013. We had been looking at mountains all week, and on the final day of the week, the fifth day, Friday, we talked about after Jesus rose from the dead, which is where our great victory comes from. Jesus asked his disciples to meet him on this mountain in Galilee, and he gave them what we call the Great Commission. And I just want to walk through these key words of the Great Commission and look at them maybe in a slightly different way. It says, "Now the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain to which Jesus had directed them. And when they saw him, what did they do? They worshiped him." So the first thing that we learn from this text is that Jesus deserves the best of our time, our talent, and our treasure. Jesus is God and deserves our worship. But then what's interesting is that they worshiped him, but some doubted. And one of the things that we have to remember is that even those who saw him risen from the dead doubted. Doubt is okay. Doubt is not a sin. I think sometimes doubt is actually a help to us, because doubt causes us to ask deeper questions and draws us deeper into the relationship with God. And then it says, Jesus came and said to them, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations." And what's interesting is that the original language, this is not a command. It's not in the imperative. He doesn't say, go. He actually says, as you are going. It's in this, what's called an aorist tense. The idea here is that as you're going through life, in everything that you do, whether you're on the soccer field or hanging out with your friends or at work, whatever you're doing, while doing it, make disciples. Spread the good news. Be the gospel. Go, therefore, and make disciples of whom? Of just your friends? Of just the people that you know? No. All nations. You see, God's vision is for the world to be at peace. The great thing about this is that we are on a global mission. God has a dream that the world will be at peace. He is restoring and creating all things new. That's a beautiful promise and God's vision for the world. And then you're making disciples of all nations and then baptizing them. You see, sometimes we think that baptism is just an event. It's just a ritual where somebody gets wet. But baptism is so much more than that. Baptism, the real sense of the word, means to be immersed in something, to be swimming in something. And we are baptizing people in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. This is the Trinity. The Trinity is a relationship of love. God loving the Son, the Father loving the Son loving the Spirit. This community of love invites us and brings us into love itself. To be baptizing people is to be swimming in the love of the Trinity. And then after baptizing them into God's love, we're teaching them to obey. And what did Jesus teach us? He said, love God and love your neighbor. And the way that we teach people is in how we act, not just what we say. The world needs to see God's love in action. And then he says, remember, I am with you always. See, this is the promise of God. All the way back with Moses, with Yahweh, God with us, to today. Jesus has promised that God is with us always.